Welcome to Hot Flashes and Higher Self, the podcast where midlife becomes your awakening. I'm Soraya, a clinical hypnotherapist and rapid transformational therapist guiding women through perimenopause and beyond, embracing transformation rather than just symptom management. Each week, myself and inspiring women in wellness will dive into mindset shifts, somatic tools, spiritual practices, and the candid stories that move us towards our limitless selves. So, if you're navigating perimenopause, menopause, or simply just wondering what's next for me, then you're in the right place. Let's rise together, mind, body, and spirit. This is Hot Flashes and Higher Self. And what I love about Sara's work is the way she bridges the mystical with the practical, making spiritual connection feel accessible, calming, and embodied. Through sound healing, energetic clearing, and soulful guidance, she creates spaces where women can rest, release, and return to themselves. So we're going to dive into her journey, the power of vibration and sound, and how energy alchemy supports women through transition and the importance of feeling held in community. Sara, I'm so glad that you can join us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Good, me too. So first of all, could you share a little bit about your journey and what led you to become a sound and energy alchemist under the name Spiritual Realist? Because I actually love that name. How did you come to that name? And tell me a bit about how it all started.
So it was so different. I come from a corporate background in finance, and this was something that I never ever really looked at, really delved into. And sound really found me during a period of like burnout and emotional overwhelm. My own nervous system was constantly in survival mode. And I tried what we would call the usual approaches: rest, lifestyle changes, medication, but my body still felt in flight or fight mode. And then I just was scrolling, thinking, I just need some time out. And I came across a sound bath event at a gorgeous hotel in London, which I've been so blessed to facilitate at since I've qualified. And I just thought, man, let's give it a try. What's the worst that could happen? And there I was experiencing my first sound journey like a week later. And it was the first experience and modality that just bypassed my forever ticking mind and just completely worked directly with my body and nervous system. I'd finally given myself an hour of undivided attention. And this is why I always say my practice is like, you have to book a ticket, come to an event, be locked in a studio, and actually like be told to lie down and be guided through a journey to actually give yourself that time for you. And it just seemed something clicked. And so I went deeper, discovered the science behind it, because I couldn't explain this feeling like logically at first. It felt good, but I couldn't understand what was happening. And obviously sound can influence the brainwave states I found, activate the nervous system, and just shift the body into a parasympathetic state. And that changed everything for me. From there, I committed to my training, not just in sound, but in energy alchemy, somatic awareness, and the energetics behind emotional patterns. And it's kind of been a path of devotion ever since. But I wasn't always originally the spiritual realist. The spiritual realist became as I started to find my feet and find my identity, because I felt like I stood in the middle ground of this work. So I was still going to my corporate job every day. I was still doing, I still like to go out and drink a glass of wine and go out and party. And so I honor the woo and the energetic and the intuitive, but also I ground what I do in physiology, psychology, and what we know about the nervous system. It's mixed with the fact most people have such a fast-paced life. Like meditation at sunrise and 5 a.m. yoga can't be the gold standard of people wanting to be in their wellness era. I don't believe spirituality and science contradict each other. I think they explain different sides of the same truth. And it's really a case of where science meets sound and soul.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. So that's how you came up to the spiritual realist. Is that what it is? The realist in terms of like you are realistic, but you're connecting it with the spiritual side as well.
100%.
Happy medium.
100%.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to show up authentically. I wanted to be able to tell my story. And I think sometimes people think that this side of things, this wellness, this spirituality is out of their reach, because sometimes like this wellness is put on a pedestal where it is kind of like, if you're not doing these practices, if you're not up at 4 a.m., if you're not sitting with crystals every day or meditating every day, that you can't benefit from these things. And a lot of this work is just giving you this time to sit and soften, and that's what you need. Even if you actually probably maybe in a park, but because we're so busy, we often need to gyms that you could lift weights in your house, but you pay for a gym membership because there is that association to that calming, to that relaxation, to that growth. And that's what I want people to understand, that they are so much a part of their journey, and that's the realest part of it. And then I bring the spiritual side to it as well.
Yeah, we'll go on to that. So you blend the sound healing, energy work, and more. How do you weave together the practical, what do you do, and the mystical?
For me, healing has to
Yeah.
be both.
Mm-hmm.
And everything I do focuses on two layers. The body, which is scientific and it's measurable, and the
Mm-hmm.
energy, which is felt and is intuitive. Our bodies are practical. Our nervous systems want and seek out safety. And our emotions need space to be processed. So
Mm-hmm.
I create containers that hold both grounded reasoning and embodied spirituality. The practical side is understanding how sound, breath, and movement regulates the nervous system and supports emotional processing and changes the stress chemistry. And the ethereal side is recognizing that energy holds memory, intentions, shape experience in our inner world is so vast and so deeply intelligent. So I guide people through kind of both worlds at once into these deep states, but I also explain what's happening in their physiology and in their energy field.
Okay. And so for listeners who may not know, what is actually sound healing and energy alchemy? And how does it actually help with emotional release, transformation, and reconnection?
So sound healing uses vibration to influence the brain and the body.
Mm-hmm.
Studies show like the rhythmic sounds and the frequencies that the bowls or the instruments play at can shift us into theta and alpha brain states. And they're those deep meditative states where emotional integration naturally occurs.
Mm-hmm.
Vibrations also affect like the fascia, the breath, the vagus nerve, which is why people often feel emotional release or a sudden sense of clarity. And for me, energy alchemy is the process of shifting stuck emotional, energetic patterns. And you could call it like a nervous system recalibration. It's clearing what the soul is ready to let go of, and
Mm-hmm.
both bypass the thinking of the mind and speak directly to the subconscious, the
Mm-hmm.
emotional body, and the nervous system. That's why people feel releases,
Mm-hmm.
clarity, and even insights that they weren't necessarily completely conscious of before, and
Mm-hmm.
why the transformation often feels natural rather than forced. I often say
Mm-hmm.
that when you're doing sound or when you're doing the energy work, like your mind kind of shuts down and your ears are
Mm-hmm.
open, and your subconscious is there. So you've got your mind at the top, your ears in the middle, and your subconscious, and your ears are receiving this sound, and your mind's lowering and your subconscious is rising. And they kind of meet
Mm-hmm.
in the middle for a hour or however long of connection. And for once, they are all on the same plane, like they're all on the same wavelength going through that journey. And that's what allows you to really delve deep into things that day to day we suppress. Like our subconscious is very often pushed down, our mind is
Mm-hmm.
pushed up because we're always thinking. And this allows for the space for them to meet safely and in an environment that embodies that.
Okay. So I understand kind of like from what you're telling me, sound healing, the sound baths, it's kind of like in hypnosis. So we have like the inductions and you go into theta brain where you reach in the subconscious, right? So that's my understanding, but by using the frequencies and the vibrations,
Yeah.
right? So sorry, I understand how the sound healing works, sound baths, but how do you incorporate the energy healing into that? Because I understand that you also do Reiki. How does that work?
Yeah, so I do a modality called Galactic Reiki. And
Galactic. Okay.
yes, so for me, that is really a blend of, so I call Reiki like the normal Reiki, which I'm also trained in, a bit like head, shoulders, knees, and toes Reiki, where you're kind of touching these parts of the body, and having that interaction and working with the energy there. Galactic Reiki is kind of taking the energy from the universe, the galaxy, the ethereal, the angels, the guides. It's really like the earth, the crystals deep down in the earth's core, and really just combining every gram and every bit of energy that we have in this incredible, insane universe, and bringing that to the table of healing and working with people. And I feel like the more energy you bring in, the more open you are, the more open people become to receiving, and the deeper the work is that you are doing with them. And the more, for me personally, the more profound those transformations and then those transitions are. I find when I'm working with all of these energies, they guide me really to where you need to be, where that person needs you to meet them. And mixing and combining that with sound. Like for sound, I feel like it drops you into that state. You have the meditation, you have the sound, and almost it's a contradiction of the more senses that you kind of stimulate, I find. And a lot of people tell me this with my sound baths and my sound journeys. The more you stimulate the senses, the deeper they go, because often if you're in silence, your mind ticks naturally. Like your brain wants to fill space if there's nothing filling the space. And when you combine that with the energy work, it's such a two powerful modalities that bring out a real change or real depth, or allow people to dig deeper than they would like in other certain works of energy.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to experiencing that, because I know you'll be doing that at the retreat in November. Well, in a few weeks, the 29th. So that will be interesting.
So
but but that'll be you doing the sound bath, and then Victoria will be doing. So I'm looking forward to experiencing that. Sounds really incredible. A good combination.
It's a beautiful combination. It's probably one of my favorite things is sound and Reiki together. It's stunning.
Yeah, because I know in the past you've also done spinal energetics as well, combined with the sound bath as well. So is that the kind of same concept? I know spinal energetics also is a type of energy work, but it's to the spine.
Yeah, I think with spinal energetics, it's really, really good for people who are starting their journey. I think with Reiki, spinal energetics is quite a new modality. It's kind of now gaining a lot of traction. So there's no preconceptions about it. Kind of what you go into it, or what people come in, or they come and they ask and they inquire. Whereas Reiki has been around for so long that a lot of people have, okay, is it a bit too woo-woo for me? Is it a bit too this? Is it a bit too that? But with spinal energetics, you're working with the spine, and I am no expert, but my friend Elena, who I do a lot with, is just sensational. And so she would explain it a million times better than me. But your body holds and stores these emotions, these memories, like this energy, whether it be good, bad. And it's almost, I guess, like a bit with the chakras. It's almost like working, the chakras being the energy and the spine being the physical. And it's almost like with spinal aligning that, for me, I describe it as aligning your spine to stand in your strength and in your power, and to let go of whatever is being trapped. And again, if you're just there laying, you're on the bed, it can sometimes be overwhelming to be just in your mind and hearing this and hearing they do a lot of breath work and they do a lot of sounds. And again, when we've done it with sound, it's just, and you've got the meditation first, it's just allowing that person to drop in and feel safe. The sound almost starts and the anxiety goes. Because if you're coming into a space of healing, a lot of times it's because you need healing, because something's happened, because you're holding on to something. And that comes with its own level of anxiety and worry before you kind of like go into the session. So sound really allows you to just begin to let your mind go. Even in songs, it's, outside of sound healing, like songs bring you up. You have a song that can make you happy. You have a song that can make you cry. You have a song that changes your mood. And that's what that is. It's about bringing people to a safe level where they feel comfort and confident to continue that journey.
Yeah.
And then you bring in spinal, or you bring in Reiki, and you allow that practice to flow in as well.
Yeah, because I experienced spinal energetics at the last retreat, and it was the same thing. They played music, and the music itself is a powerful thing. It kind of stirs up emotions in you as well. So I guess that's how you work with your sound baths as well. It's kind of getting a reaction in.
Yeah, 100%. And it was interesting because, as you said, spinal works with music, but a lot of the time the music is it could be quite a lot. It's, it really has its peaks and its troughs.
Yeah.
And again, I think for someone like a person that comes, if you are energetically very emotional, very like the vibration is like whoa, and it's very up down. Sometimes you don't need those peaks and troughs. Sometimes it's really nice to have that calming, soothing sound. So you've got two people, you've got that kind of like, it's a trinity, like they say, trinity, and you have that. So it's really about adjusting to what that client needs and understanding, like every single person that comes to a session has completely different needs. Some people would pretty love to do spinal to house music because that's what fills their brain, and that's what allows them to get in their brain state that they need to allow it. But the session that we did was beautiful because this person just needed gentleness, needed comfort, needed to just float. And I think that's often what sound does. It allows you to kind of float while still being consciously on a level.
Yeah, because we are all made up of vibrations, right?
Yeah.
And that's in the frequencies and vibrations. That's how we are. So I guess there's a reaction when you're listening to music. It's having that kind of reaction. So like you said, different types of music will affect how you're feeling as well.
100%. Like people don't realize when you are playing the bowls or when you are playing with the gong. Like I often get asked, is there water in the bowls? Was there water in the bowls when you're playing? I'm like, no. So like, it feels like that's the vibration. Like people are becoming more and more aware that it's not just a physical hearing, it's actually a physical sensation. Like you are receiving it. The energy of the bowl stays with you long after you've left the sound bath. Like it's a physical connection that it has with your body. And this is what I think is coming out more and more in the science. And this is what we needed for people to realize how this can affect their lives in a positive way, how they can take these steps to make these small changes and go to a sound bath. That's an hour out of someone's week or every 2 weeks. And it can have such a profound effect because they are now showing the physical scientific proof behind what sound healing can offer for the first time ever. And it's dispelling all the myths of it just being woo-woo, or, anyone that does sound or energy work is in a field, just banging a drum and going around. And that's where I think people thought it wasn't for them, or it wasn't their bag, or it wasn't, they weren't understanding it. But as soon as you put words to something that have proof, people start to listen, people's ears start to perk up. And this is why I think wellness now is becoming super huge, and it has grown exponentially over the past few years. And I think it will continue to, and hopefully last, because people are seeing the changes that they can acquire for themselves. And more and more and more, the more that's out there, the more money that goes into research, the more technology, the more advanced things can become. But at the base of it is still thousands of years of ancient practice. Like a gong is a big metal, beautiful sheet, like a big round, and it can do more in some ways, depending on what the situation is, than you take an ibuprofen for a headache or whatever it is.
Absolutely, with no side effects. You don't have any side effects.
It's getting to the point where, of course, different people experience things. Like nothing comes without, I would say, a side effect per se. But I think that's the thing that we've got now is if you have a headache, you pop a paracetamol, you pop an ibuprofen, and that pain, inverted commas, goes away. But what's causing the headache a lot of the time doesn't. If it's coming from stress, if it's coming from a medical condition, it's not getting to the root cause of the problem.
Yes.
And a lot of the time when you're doing healing, it's uncomfortable. People go, oh, I don't like this. It's the opposite, but actually you're doing more good for your soul in the long run, more good for your body in the long run. But we are so used to quick fixes in life, because that's how, and to be fair, that's how a lot of the time we've needed to survive. Like people say, I was listening to podcasts the other day, so I just took 6 months out because life was just too much. I was like, good for you. That comes with a lot of time spare, a lot of money spare, and a lot of understanding. And 99.9% of the population in the world can't do that. And they're probably the ones that need it the most, because they can't do it. That stress is higher. Life is crazy. So yeah, we need to create pockets and nuggets of time for people to see.
I think it's maintenance, we need to put that time into ourselves, to make time to kind of bring ourselves back to ourselves. Otherwise, you're running on empty.
Yeah, your car has
you're
an
going to break
MOT.
down. Yeah.
Your car has a service. Your house gets repainted. Your carpets get, pulled up and renewed. What do we do?
I know that's it. And it's just making that time. So why is working with the body's energy or returning to the body so important in healing and self-growth, especially when we're feeling stuck or disconnected?
The body stores emotions, and everything begins with energy first, and then the body follows. So every contraction, every suppressed feeling, every unresolved experience leaves an imprint. It leaves a physiological imprint. So when we work with vibration, breath, somatic awareness, we're not just calming ourselves, we're releasing patterns that the body has been holding on for sometimes years. And when the body shifts, the mind follows. And at the same time, if we only work on a mental level, we miss the deeper roots. So vibrational work opens the body, works to open it, regulates the nervous system, and it brings you back to your natural frequency, like one that's calm, confident, connected. Like stress, negativity, disorder are all things that we have learned. Like they're all things that have been taught. Like when we are born, we are moldable in any way, shape, or form. It's, was it the boy that was raised by wolves only barked? Like we are a product of our environment. We're a product of the things that we experience. And our brain is so advanced that although in our thoughts, our daily thoughts, we might not remember X, Y, and Z, they are still there deep in the darkest pits. Like, and that's why you often dream about the same thing. That's where like nightmares come up. You don't walk through life thinking about your nightmares, because you never get anything done.
I know,
It will find a way to resurface. It will find a way to get at you if it needs to get at you. And this is why it's so important to have that level of where you can find a calm, where you can come back to the safety, where you can find safety. And the more you do something, the more you learn these techniques. Even in day to day, like for myself, the way I react to things is so different to the way I reacted 4 or 5 years ago. Don't get me wrong, I am not perfect. I will never, ever preach that I'm perfect. You will always heal. Like I was speaking to someone just recently, and they're like, okay, so when I just feel like I need to be here, and then I'm just going to be like healed, and I'm going to be over it. And I'm like, no, because life will continue to present you with things. You're never, ever healed. You just meet the next version of yourself, which comes with its own amazing highs and probably some really tough lows. And then you get over that stage. And it's not so much like you can't ever stop things happening to you. You can only change your reaction to them. Like if I was the nicest person to someone and they were the worst person to me, even though I haven't done anything, that has to be on them. And I could only change my perception, and then it filters into daily life. The more you do it, and I think healing allows you to have that connection, to soften, to calm, and then it creeps in slowly. Like the first time you leave a sound bath, I'm like, what the heck just went on there? And then like you get you might even react completely different. You're like, oh my goodness, that felt so uncomfortable, and you'll be agitated. But then your body settles, and the next time there's another 5% where it brings your body down again. And then slowly but surely, patterns, the things that you do become patterns, become the way that you kind of shape your life.
Mm. So going back to like sound baths, then how often do people come like to really benefit from it?
I think it's such a personal journey. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have seen people come every single week
Mm-hmm.
and they have a catch up with me and they tell me all about their week and everything. And that to them, they need that. Like that is their time for them. I don't even think even so much it's always about the sound bath per se. It's about the whole ritual behind it. I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
ready. This is my wellness day. So, they grab a green tea, they have some cacao, they have that intention that they're going to have a good day because they're so excited to come to this thing that's just for them and it's
Mm-hmm.
just their hour and it's
Yeah.
just they get to chat and catch up and you end up meeting such beautiful souls that you go on that journey with them to a
Yeah.
degree. So I would say that everyone should take an hour for themselves minimum once a week, like
Mm.
minimum, because it's the intention behind setting that hour aside, the excitement, the joy, the thinking, oh my goodness, I could just turn my phone off. The first time I went to my first sound bath, I literally had my phone. They were like, turn your phone off, leave them in the bags. I still had my phone on vibrate underneath my head because I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what if someone needs me?
Mm-hmm.
What if? And I was like, even if they did, I'm the other side of London. I'm not getting back. Like, just give yourself that hour. My mum has the kids, like she can handle it. Um, but I think it's so important every week when you've had work, stress, life, kids, partners, you need to give yourself that time. Um, and a sound bath allows you that time to not think about what to fill that time with. Like
Mm.
sound healers, we've got you. Like just come, lay
Mm-hmm.
down, and we will do the rest.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great way. It's just very relaxing. And time to yourself, like you said, to switch off. So going on to midlife and transition, many women experience shifts in identity, purpose, body, and energy. How do you see sound energy work supporting someone navigating a phase of change or transition?
Um, I think during transition,
Mm,
it's a case of midlife is a biological and emotional reorganization, like hormone
mm,
shift, identity shifts, purpose shifts, and sound and energy work help support the nervous system during these transitions and
mm-hmm,
kind of help women reconnect to the clarity, their intuition, and their inner wisdom, which I feel often gets lost or doubted during these times.
mm-hmm,
And it really creates a space for questions to arise like during that stage of life, like who am I now, like what do I want, what needs to be released so something new can begin.
mm-hmm,
Because I think like everyone thinks their life's got to be, in your 20s you've got to have kids, get married, and da da da, and in your
mm,
in your 30s you're going to raise those kids, and in your 40s life's sorted, and you're back to your career, and then in your
mm,
50s you're going to travel around the world because the kids have fled the nest, and that's not mentally, that's physically, they're all physical things, they're all, but it's not the mental thing. Like your body goes through so many different versions of itself mentally throughout your lifetime, but because everyone thinks the graph is just going up in this trajectory of life and that we're not meeting ourselves in this, and then people, that's where the doubt comes in, because they're like, oh well, and then because Jane looks like she's got her life together, that means Tiffany needs to look like she's got her life together, and
mm,
and then we create this false narrative because 99% of people probably don't have their life together. Or if you said to someone, is your life exactly how, one, you planned it? Probably not. Two, you want it to be? Probably not again. Three, something you can just flip the script and change? No. So it's really about being able to honor the highs and the lows. We are always celebrating wins. We're not celebrating, the triers all the time. You go in the sports day as a kid, don't you? Come on, win, win, win. Like you get a
mm,
medal for being first. But if you just broke your ankle and gone through rehab and then you still tried to win a race and you came last, is that not even something more to celebrate because
mm-hmm.
you went through all of that to get to where you are? And a lot of the time we want to celebrate those highs that society thinks are highs. But sometimes getting out of bed, having the kids dressed and fed, or washing your face, whatever that is, if you were better 1% than you were yesterday or 1% than you were last week, they're all to be celebrated. And these transitions often forget that.
Hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think going back to what you said earlier about it's a big change in life, our lives when the hormones and you feel all these different emotions as well. It's really tricky and having these expectations thrown on you how you should be when, it's different for everyone, I think. And it's about empowering that kind of point of our lives when what I feel myself, a lot of women that I meet, my clients, they kind of have had enough and they want to be authentic to themselves and they're kind of speaking up more and they've got a lot of anger that's coming to the surface. So
Yeah.
it's a good point just to kind of get that out. Do you find that have you had clients with the sound baths that are going through this part of their life when they find it beneficial to have the sound baths, the healing work?
Yeah, I like often see women, and again, because like during that, they were like, "Oh, I'm just hot, bothered, and stressed. Sound baths
Mm,
aren't for me because I'm
yeah.
stressed, I'm too stressed." No, they're
Mm,
exactly for you. Like, and it's like
exactly.
I was
Yeah.
just women like releasing those years. Like it's been, when you get to this point, I think that's the point where you reflect back on life,
Hmm.
because you're going through these changes and it kind of makes you take that
Yeah.
step and go, okay, like let's have a look back. And they're releasing, they're realizing that they've been living from duty instead of desire. Like they've been doing what
Mm,
was
what was
required or what
expected of
was
them.
needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now they're kind of like, when they go through this journey, they're reclaiming their voice and rediscovering what drives them, what motivates them, what ticks them, remembering who they were before, the world tells you who you're supposed to be, I guess, and finding
Hmm.
peace with letting go of your old self. And I think that's what, with sound and with energy, like you're kind of coming back to your home.
Yeah.
Um, and we are so capable of doing that. Women are so strong, like we do so much. Um,
Mm.
and but a lot of the time we doubt ourselves. And that's the thing. It's not that we're capable, like, it's if there's a burning building, we could probably save everyone and everyone would be getting out and goldfish will be fine. But we've lost that sense of we can do it until we're put in those crazy situations. Like until we're
Mm.
put in the situation where you have no choice but
Mhm.
to do it. But that's not healthy. You don't want to be in that
Mm.
situation. You don't want to be in a burning building. You want to be able to stand in your power in everyday life,
Mhm.
and be able to build yourself up from that. You don't want to go on the roller coaster of those highs and lows. But we often forget, and I think so many more women are joining together. There's so many more women's circles, or even like women's social groups,
Mhm.
um, and things that like. And then you speak to people. The more you speak to people, the more you realize, oh, I'm not strange. I'm not weird. This is normal. This is this. Even the things that you think are the craziest things, a lot of the time, like people are like, oh, you just need that one person to just say
Yeah.
it. And they're like, me
It's
too.
that sense of belonging and feeling accepted, and you can share and feel that people understand you. Because I feel that's what it is. When you're alone and isolated, you feel you're the only one going through it. But it's by having conversations with others, you kind of understand that everyone's got their stuff that they're going through, and we're not going crazy.
No, and like that's the problem. Like we think we're going crazy, so we
Mm.
don't speak on it and we don't interact. We keep it to ourselves, and that only manifests deeper and continues that kind of spiral. Um, but I think like when people come into sound and they are so hit up, so stressed, they do not expect to have the reactions that
Mhm.
they have and the releases that they have, that suddenly it's almost like that overwhelm allows them to release and their mouths just go wild. You're like, you hear some crazy like, "Duh-duh-duh," and you're like, okay, yep, cool. And you can see them just like, not even, they can see that their mouths are going, they can hear the words, but I don't
Mm.
think they quite believe it because they've not allowed themselves, their body, that chance to pause. They've not allowed their nervous system
Mhm.
that chance to soften
Yeah.
and to reset. And the moment you do that, it's like you flick an internal switch. Now, if you flick an
Mhm.
internal switch with 12, 13, 14 people and women in a room, that is going to be wild. It's going to be so beneficial, so life changing, so comforting for those
Mhm.
people, all those switches, all of that release. And then, yeah, it takes one person, people feel safe to cry, to talk, to laugh, to just comfort each other. And even though people are going through different things and everyone's finding things hard, all of a sudden they come together as like a union. And that's what things were. Like they say that it takes a tribe, it takes a village. We've lost the tribes and we've
Yeah.
lost the villages. And I think the one thing I love about true, genuine wellness, and a lot of it's being commercialized, but true, genuine wellness brings back your tribe.
Mm-hmm.
It brings back your village. It brings back your sense of safety. And it allows you to go, I'm having a rubbish day. Okay, I've got you. Like, let's go and grab a coffee. Let's chat through it. I've made you a lasagna for dinner. Like, you're being held and you're being seen. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
always huge things. You don't need holidays and presents. And that's the point that we're at in life. Everything needs to be huge gestures. We're
Mm.
outdoing each other with gestures.
Yeah, it's all the
Spiritual,
social media, how people are leading their lives,
yeah,
always comparing ourselves. And I think it's also this expectation of how we should be. So I
yeah,
always prided myself as being the super mom. Everyone used to call me super mom after I got divorced and I had these young children I was raising by myself, four of them. And, it got to a sense of like being proud of it. But actually, it was what was really not, it was detrimental to my health because I was
yeah,
holding it all in. I was having to push through and be strong and be the one taking care of them, worrying about the money, about the food. And everyone on the outside would see that I was being strong, but actually, I needed healing as well. And that's what you were saying. I think having space where you feel safe to be able to express yourself and just let go and the emotions are able to, come out and you feel better for it, right?
100%. But that was your identity. You weren't
Mm.
you. It
No,
was
I
the word
wasn't.
was super mum,
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
super Soraya. Look, there's Soraya. Like, no, you're super mum.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that is who you became. You lost who you were in
Yes.
order to give to others. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. Like, and they're your children and you love them, but you're still a
Mm-hmm.
human being. You still
Mm-hmm.
need to be like like caring, even if it's for yourself, loving yourself, caring for yourself. Like, I think we put a
Mm-hmm.
lot of onus on being loved or being cared for. Sometimes that
Mm-hmm.
comes from just loving and caring for ourselves. But like, when you are doing that and when you are on that constant like hamster wheel,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes your only personality, your only thought pattern. And then that's what you need to take pride in because that's what you've got and that's what you're running with. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
if you stopped, you would probably be like, oh, wow, like this is a lot. So you just keep going because,
You
the
have no,
moment,
because at the time you have no choice. You keep going, keep going. But eventually, like you said, like without the maintenance of the car breaks down.
your supermom status skyrocketing, everything
Yeah.
else, you internally, physically, mentally is going down.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that I feel like we go down internally, the more we push the external if
Mm.
we are not able to meet it somewhere in the middle. But
Mm.
again, it's very rare that we can take the time needed to check in with ourselves and still maintain a job.
Mm.
People say, if you don't like a job, leave it. If you don't do this, if you want to move country, do this. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I have a job because I like to have a roof over my head. And as you said, you had to put food on the table for your children. I've been, similar situation. So no, we can't just do what our heart desires. And then actually that's really, really detrimental statements to be putting out there because then people feel even worse about it. Like, it's
Mm.
almost like you don't know what you've got. If you don't have it, you don't know. But then when people are constantly saying, oh, this, I changed this with my life, I did this with my life, all you're being reminded of is the place that you are in that you don't necessarily
Mm.
want to be in and you can't get out of. And
Mm.
we can't always get out of those situations, unfortunately. That is the world that we live in. But sound, energy, healing allow us to find some balance and some
Mm-hmm.
clarity.
Yeah. So going back to the midlife point of our life, from your perspective, what at this stage of life is the powerful invitation for expansion and reconnection?
I think because transition destabilizes what is no longer aligned.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when old identities fall away, the
Mm.
nervous system becomes more available for repatterning, reprogramming, um, allows you to find who you want to be.
Yeah.
It's like a window where women are more receptive to healing, intuition, embodiment, And instead of fearing change, we can work with it intentionally. Like we
Mm-hmm.
know what we need to change, what we want to change, what we want to work on. And that allows for rebirth and growth that
Mm-hmm.
has been suppressed.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think there's also in different cultures, they see it differently. Like in Japan, it's seen as the second spring, menopause, because that's
Yeah,
when, you have it's a new chapter of your life and it's kind of revered, as opposed to in the West, where it's more like everyone's trying to stay young. But I think it's the
100%.
time when we really come into our more authentic selves as well.
And we don't realize it. I think like women don't see it like that. It's always seen as like, I mean, if you describe menopause, people describe hot flushes,
Yeah.
the sweats, they're tired, they're agitated,
Brain fog.
and that's, I've never ever heard menopause be described as something that's a beautiful thing. And the only, like, one of the only other times that we have kind of all of those is when you're pregnant. And that's wonderful because you're doing
Yeah.
something, but it's again
Mm,
about someone else. You're
exactly.
having a baby, it's beautiful, you're bringing this baby into the world, and therefore you are allowed to be this horrible, tired, cranky person that is like therefore able to just be and do whatever they want to do.
So yeah, menopause, yeah, you're right. The only other time is when we are pregnant, and that's when we're allowed to be the way we are because we're having a baby. Whereas when menopause, it's mocked a lot of the time, it's not really understood. And it's like puberty. It's like we're going through puberty because of the change of hormones. It affects our moods as well. And it's a really kind of scary time to be in it. But it's about reframing it, I guess, and seeing, like you said, it's a chance for us to really be ourselves and to
Yeah,
get our
but
power
even
back.
puberty, moody teenage mood, like you have to, and this is the thing, like in life, we have to have something to show for something for the way we
Mm,
are. We've got a baby, so we're cool. We can show
yeah.
that we're annoyed or
Hmm.
irritated. But in puberty, you're just moody, like, but you're going through all of that, you're having your
Mm,
first period, you're going through all of these things. The two biggest points, your first and like last periods, these two
mm,
huge, huge, huge factors are almost like problems in
hmm.
society, problems because of what comes with them that you can't help, that you can't change,
Hmm.
and that everyone's going to go through an experience, but there's no, again, physical or logic. People see physical signs,
Hmm.
visions, see what they can see, thing that
Hmm.
transpires from this. So
Hmm.
it is just maybe trying to reframe how, yeah, it's going to be a bit rubbish, of course. And no one's saying like you just need to look at it and be like, yes, I love this hot flush, and I'm so glad I can't sleep. And
Mm,
but at the same time, the more you educate everyone, not just women, men, leaders, bosses, whatever, into understanding how this can affect people, actually the less anxiety there'll be around it for the person going through it. And actually their reaction is then a little bit different as well, because when you're anxious, you are on fight or flight, you are snappier, you are quicker off the mark with things.
hmm.
So maybe we just need to be a little bit more kinder. And maybe that'll be the next thing. Like we're understanding more and more and more as the years are going by.
Hmm.
We've gone through children's mental health, like so many different things. And now hopefully we can get to the next stage of
Hmm.
women's health and women's mental health, because men's mental health has been a massive thing for the last few years as well. So hopefully
Mm,
eventually there'll just be an all-encompassing vision, like guide for people to just accept and understand who they are a bit more.
absolutely. And then you hold group experiences. What kinds of transformations have you seen in those communal sound and energy spaces?
So group sound journeys, they create a collective frequency,
Hmm.
and so therefore the energy amplifies. Like everyone that comes to a sound bath, that comes to a retreat, that comes to an event, they come with the intention that they want to heal, they want a journey, they come with that positive intention. Like
Hmm.
they come with the want for more, the want to experience, the want for
Hmm.
better. And women are there, they're breathing together, they're releasing together, they regulate each other. There's
Mm,
research that shows that co-regulation improves emotional processing and deepens states of safety. So the safer you feel, the more you let go. And spiritually, group fields hold this shared intention that accelerates that. So I've seen breakthroughs, reconnections, like joy, emotional releases, friendships that have blossomed, like spontaneous insights from different people. And it's all made possible because the group creates this container that no one else could create alone.
Mm. Yeah, that sounds really powerful. So that's very different, I guess, to when you're just doing one-on-one. Do you do one-on-one as well? Like
I
Samba?
do. I do. One-on-one is very specified and very specific to that person's needs and
Hmm.
requirements.
Yeah.
Um, it often comes with like, that's what I think you have. Like people go for the intention in a group session, they want to have a good time. A lot of the time with one-to-one, people are coming to you because they know what they want to work on, they know what they want to let go of, and they haven't been
Hmm.
able to maybe in group
Okay.
sessions because they, you know, it's a little bit deeper, it's a
Yeah.
little bit harder, it's a little bit heavier, and
Hmm.
therefore they want to just take that journey where they can be 100% authentically themselves for the good,
Hmm.
the bad, and the ugly in healing. Like it's, you know, it's not just like all singing, all dancing, you know, peace
No,
signs and
definitely
love,
not. Yeah.
yeah, jazz hands in the field. Like sometimes it's really, really, really nitty gritty
Mm.
into your soul work
Hmm.
that the on the other end of it is beautiful and it is so worth it. But sometimes, yeah, you just need that private space, one-to-one, to be able to do that.
Okay. And going back to the group space of retreats, you'll be coming to the November retreat, and you'll be bringing the sound, energy, alchemy, working with Victoria for the Reiki. What can people expect from your session?
What can I expect? A deep nervous reset. We're
Yeah.
pressing the reset button. Um, to be held, to be
Mm.
seen, and most importantly, to be validated. Like everyone's, you've got people that sleep, you've got people that laugh, you've got people that cry. They are all valid. Like
Hmm.
every single emotion that people bring to the table
Hmm.
is a valid emotion. So they'll go on this immersive sound journey, they'll have this intuitive work, they'll have a guided somatic experience, and they will then have the space to process whatever surfaces from that.
Hmm.
Like it's not always just, it's not even just emotional feelings. Sometimes it's physical. Like there's physical and emotional feelings that arise once you've been on a journey like that. um and then they'll leave feeling clearer, softer,
Hmm.
grounded, more connected to their inner voice, and anchored in their feminine power. Like that's
Hmm.
what the underlying current is from this, is that you want people to almost meet the little girl and then the teenager and then the
Hmm.
20 something, whatever that is, whatever point, and then they come to where they are now.
Yeah.
And each of those stages, no matter how hard, no matter how sticky, is why they are where they are now. And they chose to be there on that day for a reason. And I think
Mm.
people often don't realize how important that reason and that decision is that they made, and how incredible it is that they've taken that step in that time. So they're going to realize on that day how well done me, like go me, like thank you to me for giving myself this time. Like there was nowhere else to be, nothing else mattered, they had no one else to focus on, and they made themselves the most important thing. And to
Yeah.
me, they will be the most important thing on that journey.
Yeah, and I think you're right, though. It's again making that time because as women, as moms especially, we always serve others and we're all
Yeah,
caregivers. We forget about ourselves. So I think that's why that was my idea behind coming with these retreats, just creating that space for women to be held, in a safe space and just to connect because we do forget ourselves. It's so easy to forget who we are.
100%. Like if your phone rings 3 times because they're upset with their partner, you pick up the phone.
Mm.
But do you ever go, right, I'm going to have an hour to just sit with myself and probably cry it out and do whatever? No. Do you ever say,
Mm.
okay, your friend's upset, okay, let's go for lunch? But do you take yourself for lunch when you're like, no, you'll be like, I'll grab a sandwich and I'll just get on with whatever I need to do whilst being down. So
Mm.
yeah, it's really just reminding ourselves that we are the most important thing in our story. And it
Mm.
starts with us, and so much pressure. I go on holiday without my children. I try and do it once a year. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes, and people are like, and I'm like, no, I'm such a better person for it. I ring them every day. I take photos and I send 1,000,001 photos back. I mean, they probably feel that they're sitting on my shoulder being there, but just even if I'm sitting at breakfast and I'm just having breakfast and I've not got to talk about, the latest TikTok trend or whatever it is, just having that time. And then I realized how important that refresh was. Little resets. We can't make huge life changes all the time, but it's just little resets that we need.
Yeah, you're right. And I think it's about incorporating them into your day, but also just taking time out, like a day or 2 days, just for you
Yeah.
to reset and just, remember what it is that you want. Because I think we're always so busy being busy, we kind of lose track of what it is we want, actually. We're just kind of like going through life, not seeing everything around us. And I think that's what you need sometimes, is to have that break out of your day to day and just to remember and kind of have that inspiration and
It's so true.
intuition.
And like, I had my first daughter at 18. I found out I was pregnant on my 18th birthday. I have never adulted without thinking about somebody else or without having to make a decision. So I actually don't know. And it took me, and this was my journey as why I got to, I didn't know who I was as an adult, because every decision I made had to incorporate someone else. Like if I wanted to go out and have go out, just party all weekend, I couldn't do that. So every life decision, every adult choice was brought forth or made because I had a little human. Or, you come out of school, you go to college, you go to university, you get a job, you do all of this, you do all of these milestones that we feel that we are supposed to meet. And that's probably why you get your 40s and you're exhausted, because you're like, what the heck has just happened? Like,
I know. And
it's
before
the
you
one.
know it, you become, I'll be 50 in a couple of years. It's like the time goes so quickly.
Yeah.
And, especially when you have kids, you see your kids growing up and you think, wow, my life is going. And I think that's why I feel in this time in our life, we really want to change things, to kind of do things we wanted to do when we didn't have a chance, right?
Yeah, and that's like, and you probably have a small window before then the grandkids come, and then you're like
I know.
back to like, hey mom, can you babysit? Like it's just wild, and this is why, and like it's so exhausting, and I think this is why people are trying to not get to like mid-40s and be exhausted. They're trying to balance
Yeah.
their life with their needs as well.
Yeah, that's true. So, on that note, could you share one simple sound or energy practice our listeners can try at home today, even if it's only for a few minutes, just something simple that they can try?
Yeah. So again, even if you're in bed, you have time before you go to sleep, in the morning, even in the shower, because we often say we don't have time, is placing one hand on your heart,
Hmm.
one on your womb, belly, and take a slow exhale out of the mouth. So inhale through the nose, exhale out of the mouth. And as you exhale on the next breath, you gently hum. So you're breathing in and then however that hum looks for you. I am not a singer by any stretch of imagination, but that vibration sends a calming signal through the vagus nerve and brings you back into your body within seconds. So I'm doing a breathwork course at the moment, and that's one of the biggest things, is like you don't always have time to be like deep breathe, up, down, left, right, hold out for 4 seconds, like,
There's
but
so many
that
different techniques. Yeah.
that just grounds you for that split second, just a couple of breaths. And again, it's intention.
Yeah.
Like the intention goes where your energy, you put in your energy is where the intention is going to go. Where you're putting your intention is where the energy is going to go. It's a two-way street. So that's just a really nice, quick one. And it also, humming also, I feel, knocks out your thoughts a lot of the time, because then you're
Yeah.
focusing on the humming
The
as opposed.
monkey voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that multi-sensory thing again.
That's a good tip. I'm going to try that, actually, because I do like the inhale and exhale, but not with the humming. So I'll try that one. Thank you. And do you have a personal ritual or practice that you use regularly to stay connected with your higher self, your intuition, or your deeper inner knowing?
So this question's funny because I should have a really spiritual answer to it, which is like I get up and, I have a
No,
green
no,
tea or a
no.
matcha.
You're a spiritual realist, Sarah. I wouldn't
Yeah,
expect that
and
from
this is
you.
where the realist comes in, because I try every day to do one little thing that makes me happy. That could be going to the coffee shop and grabbing like my favorite drink, like grabbing a cappuccino, dry cappuccino, super strong, and just sitting there. And sometimes it's just people watching. Or if I want that, that snack a little bit later, I'll have that, like that chocolate bar, or I think, oh, I really want that pastry, and I'll go for it. And I think it's just, or watching a half an hour of my favorite box set. And I so many times people are like, okay, well, I don't, in this journey, I don't watch TV because it's a waste of time. I don't do this, and that's completely fine. That's their journey. If I want a glass of wine in the evening, sometimes I just really want. I just sit on the sofa with a glass of wine, but I try to do something that just allows me to check in with me. Sometimes it's 5 minutes. Sometimes it's literally grabbing the coffee and drinking it on the way to the station, but I've still got like my favorite drink. It's not, and sometimes it's listening to a meditation for an hour or 2 hours. It just varies. And I think this is what's so important, is everyone knows themselves. Everyone knows what makes their soul happy. It doesn't have to be spiritual. It doesn't have to be a practice. It doesn't have to be, like I said, 4 a.m. yoga, 5 a.m. yoga. It's when you think about something, how does it make you feel? If that puts a smile on your face, just try and do it each day. Or speaking to someone, or telling a joke, whatever it is, just even saying to someone, sometimes it's like, I say, so, you've got amazing hair. And then they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And you've just made someone's day and you feel better for it. So that to me is not necessarily a spiritual answer, but it's what then I think makes me a better person and makes me a better practitioner, does more for my spiritual journey than getting up at the crack of dawn to try and be spiritual did every day.
I mean, it's realistic, Sara. It's something that we all can do quite easily. We just make time.
Yeah. And you will see the benefits. You will see how it changes your little perspective on stuff, a coffee in the sun, not anymore, but or just and that's what you say to your friends. Oh, I'm not going to go out because I'm not going to, even going out, like now with spending money and the way the climate is, people are like, I don't want to spend money. Okay, but just go out and grab just the coffee. You don't necessarily need to get the pastries. Okay, just grab the coffee, or just take that little bit of time, or walk instead of getting the train. Like try and maybe walk to part of where you're going. So you're saving money in one place that you can then put money towards in another. Because I get at the moment, like for so many people, a lot of the reason why people aren't or can't do things are for financial reasons. And this is again with part of my work. Like I want it to be accessible to so many people, like no matter their social background, no matter what's going on. That's really important to me. But yeah, just a little something of what makes you happy.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's otherwise what happens is we have the monotony of every day. We're so used to doing, because we're creatures of habit. We do the same thing every single day.
Yeah.
And you've got to break it up sometimes with what lights you up, what makes you feel kind of happy. Otherwise, it's just, a groundhog. Repeat on repeat on repeat.
And it just, if you're in a place where that repeat is stressful, it's just going to chip away at you. And Agreed. It's like you're not, re-plastering the whole wall, but if you plaster a little crack, it stops that one crack from continuing to grow. And that's what it's really like. And they say mind over matter, but that it really is that case sometimes. And sometimes like you don't want to give gratitude. Like you don't you're just like, this is a really rubbish day, but there's maybe just one little thing
there's always something we can be grateful for. I always say,
like one tiny little thing, even if like sometimes you put on a scented candle and you just come in like, oh my gosh, the house smells, you get out of the shower, you're like, oh, the house smells amazing. Or there's always something you could try to find. And that's what I would say, even if you're grateful for like a friend, they might not be on the phone to you, but you might be grateful for them. It's just doing those little practices each day becomes a way of life, becomes a habit. And that's how
it's like a muscle that we're practicing, right? So the more gratitude you show, the more you have it, and it's easier, it becomes natural. So just it's the habit of being grateful, as opposed to looking at the worst thing, look at the best thing instead.
Yeah, you're so right. Like that's exactly, like I couldn't explain it any better. It's like you're training a muscle, and then it you end up reacting differently, and it goes out into your life. You got no matter what happens, you are potentially going to go on the same pathway. That's why people say, I had a bad day, and it gets worse and it gets worse and it gets worse, because you are angled you're annoyed, so you're not looking, and then you trip over and stub your toes, then you're annoyed.
You're manifesting it. That's what her manifestation, again, it's kind of like what you're seeing, you're getting more of. law of
Yeah,
attraction. So it's what you're saying. It's like we want to, what you're focusing more, you bring more energy into it. And it's the, and
100%.
it's also the vibration as well, the frequency. I always say you want to change your frequency that you're on to kind of
And I
attract
tell
better
people,
things.
just try it for a couple of days.
Mm.
Like, it's not, it's not going to kill you. It might help. So just try it. What have you
And
got to lose? And it's not going to be like all day, 24 hours of like happiness and going around,
mm,
but just try a little bit
yeah,
and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And you'll see how things happen that aren't necessarily good, but your reflection and your reaction are different and you
exactly.
feel different towards it.
Yeah. Because going back to what you're saying, you can't change what's happening around you. All you can do is your perception. That's the only thing we have power over, our perception, right? So that's a really good tip, Sarah.
Yeah. They say, what's it? Turn your pain into your medicine. Because either
Mhm.
way, you're going to have the pain. So you might as well kind of work with it. And another one this week, we've kind of put it into perspective. Someone I know, their grandma passed away. And I was like, I'm so sorry to hear that. Like, how are you doing? And they went, it's sad, but it's not a tragedy. I was like, okay. And they said, but they lived such an incredible life.
Mm,
It's a celebration of that life. It was
mm.
going to happen no matter what. Death is like, it
Everyone
comes to
happens
call.
to everyone.
It's going
Yeah.
to happen. It's how you then react to it. And they were like, we want to celebrate this incredible life. One, this is the reason why we are, really sad because they were such an amazing person, but they
Hmm.
lived this incredible life. So although it's you never, you want people to live forever, it's a celebration, not a tragedy. And that
Yeah.
was a really, really beautiful way of turning something so sad that can
Hmm.
really, knock people for six and reframing it so
Hmm.
that they can go and come together and they're actually pre-talk about it and they'll have these happy memories and
Yeah.
it's going to be a beautiful thing where people talk more, so you hear more stories, you hear more memories, you hear some beautiful things that you wouldn't have heard if that mindset was different.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing. So, what's lighting you up in your work right now, Sarah? What are you excited about, or what's new? Apart from the retreat, which I know that you'll be joining us.
What's lighting me up right now? I think I'm getting more and more, I'm stepping more and more into my power.
Mhm.
It's a journey. And you kind of like all of a sudden have all this like responsibility and you're like, oh my goodness, I can take people on these journeys. But for me, like it's stepping into my power. It's choosing expansion over fear, trusting
Mhm.
that my intuition's wiser than my doubt.
Mhm.
And it means allowing myself to take up the space, to trust my
Mhm.
gifts, to embrace the version of me that knows is here to heal and lead and transform, like energetically, creatively, spiritually, but without apology.
Mhm.
Like I think now I've been taught to like slow down to move forward.
Yeah.
It's not always a race to get to where you are. Um, and I feel like with the support in science, it's such an exciting journey. Like that's also given me the power. I'm like, people are gonna see the truth and see what's
Mm.
really out there and seeing how science validates what ancient traditions have known for centuries.
Mhm.
And you're witnessing people reconnect with their natural state of ease and authenticity and being able to bring that to the collective, being able to, like, I really want to bring that to charities, to schools, minorities who wouldn't always have access to these tools and guidance, because I think so much of your wellness, unfortunately, is dependent on financials, where you are, what you can have access to. And that excites me, is because then people that normally need those changes the most.
Mhm.
So that's my next step, is trying to work and create those safe spaces for everyone,
Mhm.
and the vulnerable who do need it the most.
Yeah, that's really good. Um, and going back to my questions, I also like to ask my guests at the end of the show, what's something your body or intuition has been teaching you lately?
Don't wait.
Don't wait.
Nothing is perfect. Like
Mm.
I want the perfect this, right, so perfect setup. I want this, I want that, I want this instrument, and then I want this instrument, and it would be perfect once I've got this instrument. But so much of our energy work is the intention that you come with, the intention that I come with, how I show up for people that are in my sound baths, that I'm doing energy work with, on retreats. It's what do I bring? You can put, the same car in front of anyone, the same sound bowls in front of anyone, the same ingredients in front of anyone, but what they create is going to be what they bring. It's going to be their finesse. It's going to be their desires, their passion. And you can wait for forever and a day to think things are perfect, but then you're going to go out and see someone's got, a day old newer trainers than you, or a day. So you're chasing something that's not reachable. You're chasing like the universe, isn't it? The universe infinite. You're chasing infinity. And if you're chasing infinity, you're never going to get there. It's like trying to chase the rainbow, isn't it? And the pot of gold.
It's the perfectionism, though, isn't it, Sarah? It's about, I always compare it to like running a race and there's no end line. You keep running and running, thinking you're getting to the end line. As soon as you see it, it moves further on.
Yeah.
So
But I
that's the
think that's
problem.
because you're so invested, or I'm so invested in the work that I do for people. I take it so seriously. I take it as an honor and a privilege that these people trust me. You're trusting people with your soul, people trusting you with their soul. And that is a huge, huge power. That's a huge privilege, but it comes with a massive responsibility. And I've realized that responsibility is my own. There's no amount of work in my tools. There's no amount of work in my equipment that can portray what my energy is. Like, even if one of the bowls are annoying me, I'm like, you played properly, bowl. And I look at it and I speak to it, I'm like, thank you. Because it's my energy that brings my tribe, I guess, my people to me, my journey, what I've been through to get me here is all unique to me. And the whole reason why I'm on this journey is because I was so unperfect. I was imperfect. I'm still imperfect, but that allows me to be the spiritual realist. And trusting my gut and my intuition and going for it.
Yeah, I think that's really great advice as well. It's just, people just need to take the leap and just do what they want to do rather than just waiting and waiting and waiting, because
someone else will leap in front of you.
yeah, exactly. That's it. And what does living as your limitless self mean to you right now?
It means allowing what flows to flow. What comes will come. I'm a firm believer in what's meant for me will come for me, but I also need to meet it halfway. Like, I can't stand in front of a shut door and not open it and wonder why there's not someone opening the door for me to step into. And to let it go. I can only control what's in my power. I can only control how I react to things. I've now got to say, instead of getting annoyed of people, I say, I wish you the day you deserve. In my head, if someone does something to me, and that's up to them. There's
What
no
do you
karma
say?
in
Sorry, I
that.
didn't catch you.
I wish you the day you deserve.
Oh, okay.
So there's no karma in it. It's completely up to that person and their energy then as to how they dictate their life and their day. They've been in whatever situation with me, and it's up to them now. So a lot of the time we're like, oh, I really wish that person da 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 da. But that's kind of mirroring back that karma onto you. And I think it's what that means. I wish you the day you deserve. And I often think about it for myself, is how am I showing up to other people for their perception of me and how they then view me, and what energetically am I then putting out to receive. So it's not just about someone's annoyed me and I want them to have a bad day or whatever the situation is. No, you could have been in a really bad situation, that's why you've reacted. I didn't necessarily deserve it, but that's okay. But it's just being accountable for your actions.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. And also being able to apologize when your actions aren't always how they're supposed to be, when you don't show up how you're supposed to be, is accountability. But action, we can often go in our heads, okay, yeah, I know I'm wrong, but I'm not going to apologize.
Yeah.
So it's accountability and action. And that's actually very, very freeing. To be wrong and know you're wrong and do your wrongs you almost do more wrongs in that situation because you're not trying to be perfect and trying to like be a robot. It allows that authenticity, and people see that and it shines through. And they're then more accepting of when you aren't perfect. So for me, it's limitless how I show up in life, and limitless the amount of stories I can give, limitless the amount of love that I can give. It's holding no bounds and no boundaries.
Love it. Thank you, Sara. So thank you so much for being a guest. Before you go, how can listeners work with you if they want to experience the sound bath? Obviously, you're coming to the retreat again on the 30th of November, but other than that, how can they reach you out directly?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at the.spiritual.realist. And then my website, everything's on there where you can reach out, you can contact me. My DMs are always open. So if anyone's got anything they want to work on, even just questions, like sometimes like just you want to know a little bit about life, the path, like I'm so open to connecting with people. I truly believe that in these conversations, it's energy exchange. I really do believe that you can get out so much from someone that actually comes to you for healing. Like you learn so much about yourself. But for me, I'm always open to speak to people, to listen to people, to laugh, cry, hear from people. So yeah, just reach out to me on Instagram, give me a follow. All of my events are always posted on there, or are coming up, or they're on my website, which is www.thespiritualrealist.art, A-R-T. So yeah, hopefully I will cross paths with some of the people that are listening here today.
Yeah, and I'll drop it down in the show notes as well. But thank you so much, Sara, for today, and I will see you at the retreats.
Yes, super exciting. I will see you soon. It's going to be amazing.
Thanks so much for listening to Hot Flashes and Higher Self. If something in today's episode spoke to you and you're feeling ready for deeper support, then you can book a one-to-one session with me. I work with women around the world using hypnotherapy and RTT to help you shift from stuck to self-led. And if you're craving real connection, movement, rest, and reset, then check out the women's retreats I host. They're a beautiful mix of healing, hot yoga, incredible food, and soul deep conversations. And you can find all the details at www. Thanks so much for listening to Hot Flashes and Higher Self. If something in today's episode spoke to you and you're feeling ready for deeper support, then you can book a one-to-one session with me. I work with women around the world using hypnotherapy and RTT to help you shift from stuck to self-led. And if you're craving real connection, movement, rest, and reset, then check out the women's retreats I host. They're a beautiful mix of healing, hot yoga, incredible food, and soul deep conversation. Thanks so much for listening to Hot Flashes and Higher Self today. If something in today's episode spoke to you and you're feeling ready for deeper support, then you can book a one-to-one session with me. I work with women around the world using hypnotherapy and RTT to help you shift from stuck to self-led. And if you're craving real connection, movement, rest, and reset, then check out the women's retreats I host. They're a beautiful mix of healing, hot yoga, incredible food, and soul deep conversations. And you can find all the details at www.ls-therapy.com, or come hang out with me on Instagram at Limitless Self Therapy. You can also reach me directly anytime at Soraya at ls-therapy.com. I'd love to connect with you. Take care of you, and remember, your next chapter is already unfolding.